Guys, Esther Alexander here. You can call me Alexis. This is Heart Diary. Welcome back to the channel. If you're just joining us, please do well to hit on that subscribe button down below. Anywhere your interface is taking you to, just ensure that you're subscribed to this channel. So it's the end of the year and we're in the last month of the year. So it's a good time to actually reflect. It's a good time to see your progress. I just titled this video 10 signs that you're growing. You don't even know it. A lot of times people think that growth is when you move from 1 to 100 or from 0 to 100. Most times it doesn't always work like that. You can be growing from 0 to 0.1, from 0.1 to 0.2, 0.3 down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. So the margin might be very small, but there is a movement, there is growth, there's something that is progressing in the right direction. So that is something. So most times we're growing and yet we don't even know, we don't acknowledge, we don't think we are because we're not moving in the pace others are moving. That's where you're getting it wrong. First of all, for you to know that you're growing, once you start embracing your challenges and no longer seeing them as challenges, but as opportunities, then you're growing. For example, you are facing certain challenges that you're running away from, your fears, you're running away from it. But the moment you start embracing those fears and taking them as opportunity for you to make progress or for you to grow, then you're already growing. So the second thing I would like to point out, when you begin to react differently to triggers, then you're growing. You know, certain things that triggers you to anger, triggers you to violence, triggers you to reacting negatively or reacting in a way that does not actually bring you peace of mind. By the time you begin to react to those triggers differently and in a more positive light, then you are growing. You don't react to your triggers in the way that you do before that doesn't really, feel good, then you are growing. Thirdly, I'll say that the moment you start prioritizing your peace of mind over drama, my dear, you are growing. Because most times we feel like when we are in the drama, that's when we are really, happening or we're really doing things. But the moment you start to consider your peace of mind as a priority over the dramas of your surroundings or those around you or drama of the society or the world, the moment you start to prioritize your peace of mind and consider that as your major priority, then that is growth. Fourth thing is when you start embracing solitude without feeling lonely, sometimes staying by yourself or with yourself is a way of understanding yourself, your worth, things you like, understanding your principles even more, understanding yourself. Introspection is one major part of communication that most people kind of neglect. They just feel like you don't have the need to talk to yourself. But trust me, sometimes talking to yourself, sometimes being with yourself and enjoying your company and enjoying yourself, your strength, and also looking at your weaknesses helps you grow better. So the moment you're able to understand yourself, you can also put that to use when you're with people. So solitude sometimes is very good and it doesn't necessarily mean that you are lonely. So it's good sometimes when you feel more alive or when you feel more okay being with yourself, meditating, learning a skill, doing things for yourself, and basically just embracing self love even more. That is growth. Number five, when you start to set and enforce boundaries, it's one thing to set boundaries, it's another thing to enforce them. If you set your boundaries, that's one step. But by the time you begin to enforce these boundaries, that's a step to grow. And you can actually stay true to the things that really matters to you and the things that you consider as important to you. And that shows that you're really growing, even when you don't know it. So the sixth thing would be that your growth are becoming even more clearer. There are times where you don't even know what you want to do. You don't even know where life is throwing you. By the time your goals are becoming even more clearer and you're able to decipher things that you really want to do, and you're able to tell the difference between what you want and what you don't want, that is growth. Your ability to understand, what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and your ability to embrace the things that really work for you and neglect those that are not working in your favor or working in line with your goals, that is growth in itself. Number seven, by the time you learn from setback rather than feeling defeated, it's good. See, I'm not saying it's good to fall, but when you fall, it's not okay for you to dwell on the ground. It's not okay for you to remain on the ground and just say, oh, I've been defeated. There's no point rising. The thing is, they say you rise, you fall, and you rise. So by the time you fall, you have to rise again. If you don't rise, it means that you're accepting defeat, and that is not part of growth. Accepting defeat is not growing. Rising above defeat is growing. So if you fall, when I say fall, I don't mean literally falling on the ground. So it is not okay to remain on the ground. It's very much okay to stand up, brace up, dust it off, and move on. So that's the truth. That's just what growth entails. So the eighth on my list is the fact that you're more mindful of your habits. By the time you're more mindful of your habits, especially the positive ones, and you're able to use them as your means of strength, that is growth. That's number 8. I'm not going to dwell on that because it's just self-explanatory. Number 9, having a desire to grow is growth. Having a desire to grow is growth in itself. If you look at yourself and you're like, I'm not comfortable with this, I'm not comfortable with where I am, I'm not comfortable with what I am, I think I need more in my life, I want to do more for myself, that in itself is growth. That's first of all acceptance, and secondly, that is one step to growing. So by the time you're willing to grow, willingness to grow is already growth. So in case you don't know, that the mere fact that you have accepted that you need to move, you need to move to a positive direction, you need to move from one stage of your life to the other, that in itself is growth. In case you don't know, I'm telling you today. And finally, I would say that gratitude for the small wins is growth. A lot of people don't know this, but I always say it on this channel. Maybe some of my videos, I always emphasize on the fact that no matter how small your win is, no matter how small, like I said earlier, growing is not just going from 0 to 100. It could be you growing from 0 to 0.0001. You see that one that was added, it is growth. So that's just what it is. So thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. I hope that you've learned one thing or two. So these are just 10 signs to know that you're growing. Sorry, 10 signs that you're growing even when you don't know it. I hope that this video did justice. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do well to like, share, comment. And if you have more to add to this, please do well to ensure to do that in the comment section. I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Bye.